The shielding monster modifier has been enabled in trial chaos. Whatever, sure. You know what? Honestly, I just tired of the changes for monsters that are wasting time. Skill changes. Let's get into it. Skill changes. So, player skill changes. Yoink. Let's take a look here. They added a new ability to this, which I will grant you is an improvement. I will give it a good rating. Now grants you stacks for duration based on enemies' rarity. Normal enemies can't grant stacks. Now, we are adding a mechanic. We are giving the skill an update. We are finishing the game at its core, okay? The lightning bolt skill granted by this has been renamed to differentiate it and triggered. Okay, I'm gonna say that's adding content. It is changing what is existing, but it is changing it in such a way that it is no longer the same as it was before. It is now an updated version. You have now added something to the game. I don't care about this. I do not care. This is a balancing change. You have a number. You are not adding anything. You're not changing anything other than a number. You're wasting time. Mine, yours, everyone's. Skill socketed in a meta gems sockets can no longer gain energy. That's a change. I'll give it that. This is a change. Good. We are adding things. Remove the aura tag from pain offering for consistency with other minion skills, as the skill does not directly create an aura. The aura is created by summoning a minion. I'm gonna give this a I'm gonna give this a green. I will say that's good. I will say that's good. Okay. Now have end game changes. Now, why is end game changes in red all the way at the end here? I'll tell you why. Because you don't have an end game. Why? Because it's not finished yet. But let's see what they have to offer. This is good. What you do provide is good. As in provide as an ad. Revamping. Fine. To address the problem of having, you will now have up to 5. Okay. So this is good. No longer be interrupted during his falling. Okay. This is good. Wait. Yeah. I would say that's a significant change that, you know, moves the needle from 55 to 56. I would say this is yellow just because reduced damage is a balance change, but the invulnerability is a mechanic change. You could argue this is a balance change as well. You could argue these are both balance changes. All right. Yeah, we're balancing. We're still balancing, but I'm gonna say it's mechanic based, right? So it's like you're adding a half and you're minusing like the 4.999, like a million points of 9. And it's just, there's not even any decimals there. It's not great. It's not terrible. Added checkpoints to map areas. I wish I could put this. You know what? No, we're gonna omega green this. Huge update. Map areas now contain a minimum of 3 rare monsters. I don't care. Finish the game. Citadels now appear closer to the Ziggurat Refuge. Good. That's finishing the game because you are adding content, right? The player experience, the game loop has now altered to, you know, the adjustment of this change. So, improve the visibility of citadels. Good. Same thing again. Maps now display the biome when hovered in the Atlas UI. Good. Added new overseer pre-search tablet. Good. Map areas have been adjusted to be more distinct specialties for the content they contain. For example, one map area might have total monsters. This ties into these things I would say are balance changes, but they are the content being added based on the update that changed them, right? So instead of having, let's say, item, you know, stat line, you know, number 3 change, right? We have, hey, your playing area now has all of these new updates, right? And each of these updates has its own individual balance change. For that, I will give it an okay. This is okay, but only because this is okay. And I think that's a huge caveat. Let's take a look here. Maps that are only exclusively found in biomes containing citadels now have a 50%. Okay, again, this is good because of the change, but I would normally say that's bad, but let's just lump this all in. I'm okay with that. On its own, I'm okay with that. Monsters in Untainted Paradise have been breeding. Untainted Paradise now contains 100% more monsters. I'm okay with that. Yeah, and the reason I'm okay with that is, again, when we look at the way in which you experience the game based on the change, if they undo it, it still has this effect, right? Instead of just doing this, right? No matter what point of the game development's process you are at, you are getting something different versus it doesn't matter. You might as well play the game at launch, or versus now, it's the same problem. It just got, you know, a different coat of paint. So that is the deal there. Or it's still half baked. All right. Improve the highlightability and clickability of shrines. Excellent. That is a massive change. Reduce the damage scaling of monsters and simulacrum encountered with added difficulty. Balance change bad. Adjusted the chance for maps to contain bosses you should be encountering a boss roughly every 1 in 4 maps. Now, of course, we know that it's every map there's a boss. So I would say that with the benefit of hindsight, we can consider that this was a waste of time, because ultimately they eventually did change that every map now has a boss, right? However, we recognize that this is progressing, right? If we have a graph of progress, we're going up. Theoretically, this change and this change are correlated. There is a causation between one and the other. Ultimately, the fact that this could be seen as a waste of time can also be considered a good change. And we say that fundamentally because instead of saying, now the item does more damage, now the boss does less damage, now the item does more damage, now the boss does less damage, going around in circles like this, we're doing, hey, let's have this lead to that, lead to this, and we go up. Even if we may go back and forth, right? We're on the right, we're on the left, we're on the left, we're on the right. We eventually do get to a point where we are at an elevated experience of the game, right? The game has more to offer. It is giving us more content. It's providing us more fun. That is what this is. It is the process of that happening versus this, which is like ultimately your damage scaling in the simulacrum. You may consider that to be progress, but it is a balance change. It doesn't move the needle of the game being complete. We're going around in circles and you can say, hey, look, we're getting to, you know, a point at which the damage scaling of monsters in the simulacrum and the added difficulty, or suddenly we have this, you know, these are the same. I don't understand. What's the problem? It's not going anywhere. It's going somewhere, but in the same spot, right? This is a balance change. This is a mechanic change. So the chance for mod bosses to drop a waystone has been reduced. Yeah, again, balance change, don't care. You can say those two are connected. I want you to finish the game. Do not tweak the chances for a waystone to drop. Adjust the chances for there to be two bosses on the same map. That's a mechanic change versus a balance change. And you could say, oh, well, you're adjusting, you know, percentages, right? But we're adjusting percentages in two different completely distinct categories. One affects the game loop. The other one does nothing to finish the game. And again, can always be rewritten or overdone in the next update or the next change. And ultimately, if you're again at 1.1, which is where we are now, and you want to get to 1.0, would you rather do this? Or would you rather do that? See, I would take all these green ones every day over any one of the red ones. Any day. The Radiant Waystone Atlas notable passive now provides a 15% chance. Again, percentage. This is not getting us to 1.0. I don't care. Get us to 1.0. Finish the game. Yeah, I guess this is good. Crisis Fragments, Breachstone, Simulacrums, and Audiences with the King now have more appropriate gold value defenders. Don't care. Move on. You could say that's an added thing. You could say, hey, that's a meaningful change. Hey, that does something. I say no. Judgment call, opinion-based, subjective idea, not meaningful in any way. Increase how far you can zoom out the endgame map on a keyboard. This is a huge bonus. Okay, with that, we come to the end of 0.1. And if we look back on the changes, ultimately we can consider a great deal to be improved, but also a great deal to be not improved. On the whole, I would say this one was a good change. And I will say that this one is a good change monumentally for the significant improvements that occurred as a result of bug fixes. You know, some of the monster changes, obviously we got some MTX, that's huge. General changes, console changes, right? We can't forget about the console changes. Those are a massive part of the player base. But that there were some massive downsides. There were some massive problems here. And we can also consider, right, a huge aspect of this situation, which is simply the opportunity cost, right? Did we get a new playable character? No. Did we get a new act? No. Did we get a new weapon category? Of course not. We didn't get a new character. So, I mean, I'll be honest, we didn't even get new items. Music. We did get some new visuals. There is that, right? We did get new visuals. We did get some updated telegraphing and alignment with animations. So these things are there to be appreciated. And I think that's why that overall I will give this, you know, I'll give this a good one. This did good. Alrighty, and with that, we have come to the end of the video. Like the video or dislike it. If you agree or disagree, let me know why in the comments. This video is going to take quite a while to finish, and will be definitely broken up into many parts. So make sure to check out the other ones if you haven't already. I will theoretically be streaming at some point. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, Aramorian signing off.